Hey guys, thanks for joining me once again for an episode of Pickups. This is Retro Edition, and it's been a pretty good week. So thanks for joining me. Um, where do you want to start? Uh, kind of got a lot of different stuff, and it's been so much fun, and I'm so excited to have this stuff. Um, let's just start with some of the easy basics. Nothing too terribly exciting. For the Wii, Animal Crossing. City folk. Everybody loves Animal Crossing. One game I had never heard of, and I only bought it because it looked pretty cool. Never heard of it, and I paid retail. It was at a thrift store, but whatever. Scalar. So you're a lizard and you go around. Apparently you have different lizard powers. So for the original Xbox, one game that my son picked out, because he is obsessed with the Titanic. He can tell you more about the history of the Titanic than any adult I know, which is pretty awesome. He loves history, and it is so much fun to learn with him. Um, I've grown up being a history buff, and there's a lot of stuff that I love. And just being able to do it with him and see his excitement and the joy on his face and just how much he remembers is awesome. So, for the DS, we picked up Titanic Mysteries. Unfortunately, it's a little bit above his reading status. He is only 5, so this is a search and find game, kind of like the mystery rooms where you have to search for different items in the room. He can do the hunt, but he just can't read for the items that he needs to find. So this is surprisingly, I paid $3, surprisingly a $15 game. I was kind of shocked, but I was more shocked that there was actually a Titanic game. Who would have thunk? There's a couple of them for different systems, mainly Nintendo, but some of the cool stuff that I got today, or not today, but this week, I was pretty stoked. I love Nintendo. Original Nintendo is what I collect for. I have over 400 of the original Nintendo NES games, and I love CIB. So I went to a local thrift store, got a hint on a game, Minecraft, for the Switch, and I was excited to go buy it, but then I came to find out it was story mode. I'm not so excited about the story mode game. But when I walked in, they had a stack about this tall of boxed NES games, and they were minty. Oh my god. A few of them I already have, so I didn't buy much. But I bought two, and I had to go back the next day to buy the second one. But here you go. A super minty Mario Bros. This box is clean. It is missing the manual, but I already own the manual. So excited to have such a minty clean copy. The other one, I knew about the first game. I didn't know there was a second game until I saw this box. And this is not a cheap one. I did pay a decent amount, but about half of retail. And oh my god, this is minty. Super Spy Hunter, and it is complete. It is so minty. I don't think the person that owned this ever even played it. It is just so clean. Basically, they bought it, unwrapped it, that was it. So, $85 game right here. Let's see. Where to go next? There's so much stuff. Your basic thrift store finds. Nintendo 64 controller blue, which is harder to find, but I think it is a third party. It has the initials YKS and a sticker right up here, but I will never say no to buying an N64 controller, especially when the stick is 10 out of 10. that is impossible to find. So, nothing wrong with that. Before I get to the offer up lot that I bought, we're going to move over to a couple more thrift store finds. Still some really cool stuff. Let's see. Do you like Pokemon? I kind of like Pokemon. Only because I worked at Nintendo during the Pokemon craze, which is still going on. Some of the cool stuff that I found. Pokemon beanie. Pokeball. I actually got this for free because there was an itty bitty stain. I just mentioned it to the person, and the cashier, and she was like, "Here, just take it." I was like, "What?" So pretty stoked. Another thing that I found, my son is obsessed with this, and this is the second one I found ever, but this is the biggest one. Pikachu. Oh, so is it a plush? Is it a plush? No, it's not a plush. It's a backpack. And oh man, he's so excited to have this. He just wears it around, puts stuff in it. It's amazing. And such a good find. You don't find these very often. So if you ever do, pick it up. It's just fun. Kids love it. Adults love it too. This is a little harder to find, and I thought this was pretty badass. Pikachu! So, brand new Pikachu hat. Still got the tags and everything. So, I thought that was pretty rad. I had to give it. This is a very unusual and pretty awesome find. Found it at the thrift store. Can't believe it. It is just amazing. I don't know who would donate something like this, but it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and somebody did a lot of hard work for this. And I'm just blown away that I was able to get this for such a good price. I don't even know if I could, what I'm going to do with it, but it's amazing. So, first, number one, do you like Pokemon? Most people do. But Charmander, hand knitted. I mean, it's not the super high quality, but it's amazing. Somebody took all the time to make this. So, crochet, knitting, whatever you want to call it. But it's got the tail. It's got these handmade eyes. I mean, not high quality, but it's just so cool that somebody would take the time to actually make this. And it's beautiful. So, I'm sorry that somebody donated this, but it's going to a great home. Hi, Charmander. Thanks for joining our family. My son is going to blow his mind. This is going to blow his mind. So exciting. The next cool thing that I found, and this was the same day, same thrift store, and I'm guessing the same person, but my God, Miss Pac-Man. Whoa. She's got the dimple on one side, but not the other. But man, somebody went through, hand crocheted all of this, stuffed it. Oh, I don't know. I really think somebody screwed up and donated something they weren't supposed to. But yeah, Miss Pac-Man. I don't remember the order of the ghosts, but Inky, Blinky, Winky. Can you believe this? There's ghosts. It's Pac-Man and the ghost. And guess what? So cool. This blew me away. I was just so amazed that somebody donated something like this that took so much time and effort. And of course, they were gamers. This is amazing. Wow. But I am more than happy to have this. So cool. All right, we're going to the big part. I found a guy on OfferUp. Really bad pictures. Horrible pictures. For a lot for $45. He lived in, let's say, it's probably a little over an hour to an hour and a half away. And when I was interested in buying the lot, I didn't realize how far away he was. But I think I was the first person to message him, and he was like, "Hey, where do you live?" I said, "Kirkland." He's like, "Oh, I'll meet you at your, like, close to you." I was like, "Wait, what?" The next day, and I just couldn't believe it. And he showed up, which was so crazy. Just for him coming up here, I ended up giving him extra money for gas money because I couldn't believe that he drove up here. But it was actually fairly convenient for him because he was working close by. But mind-blowing is what I got. So this is it. Game Boy Advance. It's a Glacier. Battery cover. Missing. Duct tape. Luckily, I have a couple extra game shells to replace beat up, broken Game Boy Advance games. So I'm sitting on 2 of them right now. So there's one. Ooh, there's a second. Same deal. But he even gave me working batteries. So awesome. I won't say no. But we got a third one. The third one actually has the battery cover. Whoa! You know, battery cover's about $4 or $5 a piece on eBay. They're pretty easy to come by. The thing that got my attention was when he took the picture on OfferUp, everything was up from the back. So I saw 3 Game Boy Advances and a Game Boy Pocket, or Game Boy Color. And I just thought that was like, he's like $45. I said, it's like, okay, you know, we can play around with those. I do have the extra shells to do some replacements on the cases there. But when you went to the second picture, you saw the back. You flip it over. It's the Pokemon edition. This is the silver or gold, it's kind of hard to tell, edition. So there was 2. There was the yellow edition, which I already own. I've owned this one previously, which was in much better condition, but it did have corroded contacts and took me a while to get it to work. But I gave it to my buddy Digi Desden, who needed it for his collection. So he's got this, but now I got a second one. But of course, it's pretty beat up. But I'm just excited to have a complete working one, you know. So we'll play around with this. We'll get this cleaned up and stoked to have it. So now I own both Pokemon Edition Game Boys. It's pretty awesome. Along with it came a bunch of games. Because I gave him an extra $10 for gas, he gave me the original deal. But once I gave him the extra $10, he's like, hey buddy, come back. And I was like, oh, what's up, man? He hands me another stack of games. I was like, what? You know, just for being such an awesome dude, for coming up, driving an hour to hour and a half from where he lived. You know, I threw him an extra couple bucks. But just being more of an awesome dude, he gave me extra games. So just those Game Boys alone were worth what I paid. Worth more than what I paid. So, and now we're going on to the games. The games is kind of fun too. So, not the exciting parts, but we got Pokemon video, Cartoon Network collection video for GBA, and the Nicktoons video. So, if you're not familiar, they came out with many different versions of this. I think there's about 20 or so of the Pokemon. Nicktoons and Cartoon Network, I'm not exactly sure. But, just being able to watch cartoons on your GBA. So we'll continue over to the Game Boy Advance games. We're just going to kind of move through this. Not too terribly exciting, but Bionicles. Yu-Gi-Oh! Ultimate Masters. My son's excited for this one. Pirates of the Caribbean. Rugrats, I Gotta Go Party. I Gotta Go Potty. Ha 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 ha. Spider-Man 2. And this is kind of where it starts to get a little more exciting. Nothing ultra rare or anything like that, but still just icing on the cake. This is an expensive game, but not one I own, so I'm kind of stoked to have it. Fortress. Monster Ranchers Advance. Picking up the pace a little bit. This one, my buddy DigiDesden picked up for me, for my son, at the Cowlitz Gamer for Kids. So now this is my second copy, which I'll be letting go. No problem. Mario Kart Circuit. And this is kind of a fun one. I've played this before. It's not an easy game, but it's really fun. Not the best label either. Earthworm Jim. Pretty cool. Alright, so next in that lot came some Game Boy games, or more like Game Boy Color games. A lot more Game Boy Color, and some not so exciting, but some pretty decent titles. So we got Dexter's Laboratory. I don't own that one. I can't remember if I have this one or not, but Frogger 2. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. Scooby-Doo. Alright, so when it comes to the GBC, here's the ones that I thought were pretty exciting. And they're worth an okay amount of money. That's not what I'm going for, but I just like to find the uncommon, the not everyday finds. But we got Dragon's Lair. So pretty stoked to play that one. This one surprised me. I didn't realize that it was a hard to find game, and that it was worth about $17-20. Kind of blew me away. Batman Chaos in Gotham. It's not too often that you find a $17 to $20 GBC game, so I was pretty stoked. All right, moving on to the other Game Boy Color games. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3. I do not own that. One of my favorite things to find is the Game & Watch. This is Gallery 3. I do not own this one yet. I have a few of them. Another Monster Rancher. People love Monster Rancher games. I've never played one. One of my favorite games to play. Pretty awesome. Bubble Bobble. Yeah. This is my third copy, but this is one of the harder ones to come by. And this one is super clean. Zelda. So this might actually be replacing my copy that I have. Getting close to the end here, so we're kind of just flying through things. Got a couple N64 games at the thrift store, which I never find cartridge games ever. Drives me nuts. I love cartridge games. It's what I grew up on. So I had to buy these. Not the best prices, but they're not easy ones to come by sometimes. This one's easy. This one's not an expensive one, but Turok 2. I didn't have it in my N64 collection. I'm rebuilding it. I sold it off. I had almost half the collection, but I sold it off about a year ago, so I'm working on rebuilding. This is a game that I bought, and the day before I bought it, I was working on a trade with a buddy of mine. So the copy he's going to give me is a lot cleaner than this one. But Castlevania, if you can't tell, there's some Sharpie on it. So this one will be finding a new home. But I'm excited to get the trade from him so I can have it again. Here's a hard one to come by. A lot of collectors look for this one. I did pay close to retail, but still under, so I will not complain. And it is in great condition, but really hard to find. It's worth about $50. Castlevania. It's a Legacy of Darkness. This is the harder one. I've owned this before, but it was missing half the label. So I am so stoked to have this. I've been getting into the Castlevania games for the NES. I've gotten some Super Nintendo ones recently, and now getting into the N64 games. So pretty stoked. This was pretty dang good week. I will not complain. If I could have a week like this every week, I will be happy. But probably not going to do so much hunting over the next couple weeks because we do have the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo coming up, so I do have to get ready for that. I will have a booth. If you're going to be there, I would love for you to come by, say hi, and just check out what I have. I'm going to have some dirt cheap deals. I'm going to have a ton of games under retail value. I'm going to lose money on games, but there's just stuff that I will never play. So I am passing on the deals, and I'm gonna give stuff away. Basically, give stuff away. So, thanks for joining me once again. Sorry this was such a long video, but so much cool stuff to show. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.